I hope you can hear me. These construction guys hate me. Wait till I have to be on a phone call or Zoom to make the most noise. Lovely. But I hope everything is clear. Today we're talking about personal branding for students. But firstly, it's Friday. So how was your week? Do you have people in your life that you ask how was your week? That's a good thing too. That's a useful thing. Usually, I say it's good to have an accountability buddy. That's what we call them, like for goal setting. Whenever I teach goal setting, or when we're talking about procrastination, or what else do we use accountability buddies? It's helpful. Like when you're going to the gym, you have a gym buddy, or if you want to join a book club or a networking event, I always say go with a buddy. It helps to have another person. It helps if you're anxious, it helps to motivate you, it helps to remind you, it helps to encourage you. It makes it more fun and entertaining, whatever hard thing you're trying to do. I remember the first gym buddy I had years ago. I hated going to the gym, and every day I'd pray something had happened to her. I'd be like, oh God, I hope she's stuck at school. Maybe it's snowing and she won't want to go. Maybe she's sick. No, she'd always show up. I hated going to the gym. After like a month, I was like, girl, I can't do this. I hate this, and it's making me hate you. But it's helpful to have a buddy. It helped her. She really stuck to going to the gym. And from those years ago, she's like a gym person. I gave up after a month and went back to my old ways. But she stayed and became a gym person. And now she goes to the gym all the time, even by herself. You never know how a buddy will help you. So once a week, meet someone who you ask, how is your week going? And they ask you, how is your week going? And you tell each other the truth. I'm struggling with this. This was great. This happened at work. This happened in family. It's really helpful to have that in your life. I have that. I did on a Wednesday with my friend, but it's not Friday. But still, we see each other every Wednesday, and we go for yoga, and then we go for dinner, and then we like go through each other's lives. It's like our catch-up session, and we get some good exercise and some peace involved in it. So it's a good thing. So small routines and things like that that you build into your life, they really make a difference. You think it's something relaxing or something that's silly or like girls' night or fellowship or something that you do every week with other people, but you're checking in on each other. You're making sure each other is okay. Life is hard, yo. It's hard. And I feel like we're living in hard times. I feel like maybe because I go on Twitter a lot, we love to complain with the millennials about all the crises and like pandemics and depressions and financial crisis and all these things we've lived through. Our parents lived through war, so can't really complain. Like a couple of wars. But I feel like we're living in a it's a hard time because of all the hard things that happen generally in human life. But because of the internet, we're all so much more connected. So I feel like it's so much easier to feel the pain other people are going through like not just seeing it on the news, but seeing their stories or hearing their things. This last week was really hard with the Roe versus Wade in America. My God, that was painful. Like it kept coming up in my newsfeed, and I'm like, I'm not American, but it was painful. Like as a woman, it hurt. And I feel like these things are going to trickle down and affect everyone else. It just sucks to see the world go backwards. So I feel like we go through so much more because we're going through other people's things all the time too, because they're in our news feeds. Which is also a good thing because you also get to share the joy and the happy things. I'm sure everyone's newsfeed is also full of weddings and babies and birthdays and promotions and nice celebrations, which is really sweet. So you enjoy those kinds of things as well. I like that. I like when I get LinkedIn notifications that someone got a new job. That makes me happy. And if there are people like I know, I'm always like, congratulations. Sometimes it's someone you know and you know they've wanted this job or they've been trying or they've been complaining about their job. And I'm like, oh my God, you got a new job. It's exciting. So it's good to keep in touch with people. It's an important thing. It's actually something I was talking about to a friend this week. Whether you're introverted or extroverted, we still need human beings. Introverted doesn't mean you hate people. It just means it drains you a bit to be around people, but you still enjoy the experience. You still know lots of people. One of my introvert friends was at a party with me last weekend, and he knew everyone. I was like, who are all these people? They all keep coming to say hi to you. You keep telling me you're an introvert. He's like, yeah, I don't like big groups, but I can deal with one on one. And I have good relationships when it's one on one. I was like, okay, that makes more sense. I'm not introverted, so I don't understand, but I feel like it still helps to have people. No man is an island, so you need people and you need to connect with other people. So if you're doing these weekly reviews, like how was your Friday every Friday when I tell you to, I hope it's helping you. But also share it with a friend. or go through it with a friend. I know it's kind of personal at first. It's hard to like share your things that you're struggling with or your goals or things that you can do better. But when you get used to it, you realize it's not that it's not personal, but it's nothing to be embarrassed of, whether you're achieving things or not achieving things, whether you're struggling with something or winning at something. I think it's good to practice sharing because the science studies about health say that longevity and how long you live, yeah, is based not only on like your physical health, but on the relationships you have. People who have deeper and more deeper relationships, like many relationships with people in their lives, live longer. Human beings are not designed to be alone. Babies die if you don't like love and kiss them and hug them and care about them. Not just that you have to feed them. It's called failure to thrive. If like babies whose parents die or like are in bad situations, if the nurses and people around them don't take care of them well, they die because you need love and you need that attention as human beings. And I think that's what it is. Like, when old couples die, like the husband dies or the wife dies, and then the other one dies really soon, like in a few months or within a year, because they were so used to being together all the time. It's really like heartbreaking. But that's what it shows, human connections. You need other people, even when you're going through hard times, even when you're going through good times. And I feel like in our culture, we're used to just hiding things. So if you practice sharing your difficult things and practice sharing the good things, it's better for you. It makes your relationships more authentic and you can be there for each other. I'm not saying you have to share the whole world, but cultivate relationships. So if you have relationships with people who you can tell I'm having a tough time right now, that's a good thing. Even if you don't want them to help or to fix it, at least they'll be caring for you. They can do something nice for you, or they can not give you the extra work that they were going to give you. And then you can also share good things. So many people keep quiet about the good things. I have a cousin who keeps getting promoted at work and he never lets us have a party for him. I'm like, but it's exciting. We want to celebrate you. He's always like, no, 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 it's no big deal. You have to share and enjoy the good moments too. People work hard. It's nothing to be ashamed of or nothing to. I feel like we don't let each other celebrate these things or make a big deal out of them. Even when like me and my girlfriends or my cousins are like, oh my God, and we make noise, my dad is like, why are you making so much noise? You're not the first person to do that. Shh, be calm. So I feel like it's in our culture not to make a big deal about small things. But life is short and life is precious. So appreciate the people you have in your life. Say how much you love them or thank them for what they do for you. Appreciate the moments that you get. And it also helps to share the hard things and be there for each other. Because life is hard enough. Don't make it harder. Not what I expected to talk about today, but here it is. Share. How was your week? Share it with someone. Find someone this week. Make that be your homework this weekend. How was your week? And listen to them when they answer. Listen to them, not to say, oh, mine did this, or oh, that's so funny, this happened to me. Listen and be present and actually hear what they're saying. Does this make you feel like that? What I'm hearing is this happened. Is that right? Bounce it back, reflect, let people get through it. Because it also helps to talk through some of this stuff. If you look at all your weekly like reviews, sometimes you're repeating the same thing over and over and you're not realizing, why aren't I overcoming this obstacle? Why can't I get over this hurdle? It helps to talk it through. Sometimes you just need to explain it to someone, and for your own mind, it will break it down logically and you'll see the gap and you'll realize, this is what I need to do to make this happen. So it's helpful. Go through things with someone. What did you succeed at this week? What do you think you need to improve at? How are people responding to your communication? How are they responding to your instructions? How do you feel you're doing as a team leader for the first time? You know what's going on in your people's lives. So ask them about it. See how they're doing with it, how they feel about it, what they think about it, how they want to take this forward in the future. Do they enjoy it? Are they having a good time? Do they think this is something they want to do more? Are they struggling with something? Is there anything you can do? Sometimes it helps rather than to dive in and say, this is what you should do. Be like, how can I be supportive to you? What would be useful? Small things. It's worth a try. So, personal branding for students. Excuse me. This is a fun one because I feel like I talk about this a lot. These topics have started to overlap in my brain, so forgive me if I'm repeating myself. Um, Personal branding for students is an important one because you start to make your reputation when you are young. And when I say students, I don't mean you have to be a university student. I think even when you're younger than that, even when you're not a student, I feel like it means generally when you're young. it's something you should be proactive about, because your reputation will just happen to you if you don't happen to it first. If you're not intentional about it and proactive, people will just know you the way they know you and make assumptions about you. So you want to think about what kind of impression you're making on people. When they meet you for the first time, what will they go away thinking about you? Will they even remember you? That's the first struggle, huh? Let's first make sure we're memorable. Last night I was at a cocktail event and my sister comes up to me. She's like, "Oh my God, your friend didn't even have business cards. How? That's not professional. What kind of adult is he?" I'm like, "Girl, you think that guy needs business cards? You think anyone here is going to forget him? He's such a memorable person. He's such a good networker. He probably run out of business cards, but he makes a very strong impression on people in a very good way because he's very good at networking and he's cultivated it over the years. You know, you'll always remember his name. He'll remember your name. He'll remember what you did. You remember what he did. He'll make a joke about something. He'll connect with you in such a good way. Like I think, has a natural skill, but he's also like really honed it over the years. So you have to, I'm going too fast. Think about who you are as a person, right? You don't have to be naturally extroverted or naturally like people or have anything to say. I think when you're young, you firstly, most of the time, don't have a job to say, I do this. And you don't really know how to introduce yourself. So, something we use in business is an elevator pitch. Like, you should be able to explain your business in 1 minute to someone. If you have the opportunity to meet someone at a party, on an event, or in an elevator, you have to be able to tell them your business, right? But even as a person, you should have an elevator pitch. So that's the homework for the students, for the young people. How do you introduce yourself in a way that is clear, concise, and memorable in 1 minute? Hmm? It's helpful to give your name, of course. Please don't say you were born in this village and you come from this place or you're going to this school. No one wants to know that, ever. I don't know why we teach people to say that. I'm in meetings and they're like, I was born in this village and then I went to this school. I'm like, how is that ever relevant? Ever. I don't understand that. That's a Ugandan thing I've never really grasped. Anyway, so you want to give your name in a clear, audible way. Come on, ladies, audible. People have to be able to hear you. You need to be able to say something about you and the sector that you're in. If you don't work, say that I'm looking for a job in finance or I'm looking for a job in banking. I work in compliance. I'm passionate about insurance. I'm fascinated by M&E. I want to work in oil and gas. Say something that's sector specific so that the person can file you in their mind. Please remember, adults who are way older than you have met thousands more people than you. So their minds have a filing system. So you want to be remembered as, okay, that's the student in oil and gas and something else. Why should they remember you? What is interesting about you or useful? Or what can you offer? Are you looking for an internship? Do you need a mentor? Don't say I need a mentor, but you have to think about it like a win-win situation. What do you want and what can you give them? Why should they remember you? Why do you want this person to know you? You know, what can they possibly offer you or be there for you or suggest to you, you know? Say something that can connect the two of you. Like you're both at the same event, say something about the event. Say something about the speaker. Don't talk about the weather, you know? Something, not small talk. Don't talk about politics either, something that is relevant, you know? My friend who's a good networker always finds a way to make a joke about something that's happened like there that you've all experienced. Because to connect with other people, you've gone through this bonding experience of attending this conference, whether it was fun or it was boring, or the guest speaker was really great, or they said something really controversial. Say something that will help you connect to each other, right? And make sure that they're going to remember you. Remember their name, say their name. Oh, Bob, lovely to meet you. So interesting. Oh, yes, you work at this company. I've been to your offices actually. Such bright colors, like all the art on the walls. Very memorable. I don't know, say something. Find something. And the more you practice this, the better you get at it. The more things you like connect with and understand. You'd be shocked at how many things you have in common with other people, even people who are completely different from you. Different countries, different contexts, different industry, there's always something you can find you have in common, and that bonds you, and then you remember each other. Then you also need to follow up. So when I'm talking to young people about networking and reputation, make sure you have an elevator pitch. Make sure your social media is not going to embarrass you, please. Yes, it's funny that you fell asleep when you were drunk and your friends drew on your face, or they made a thing around you, or there's this exciting dance you guys did. If a future employer is going to see that and be like, ooh, remove it, you can send that stuff to your friends on WhatsApp. Hmm? And even then, you really shouldn't. I think after a certain age, the fewer people that have embarrassing things of you, the better. It's safer for you. But that's another point. Your social media reflects who you are. If someone Googles your name today, what is going to come up? Think about that. And the third thing is have your own filing system. Personally, I love LinkedIn. It makes life so much easier for me. But if you're going to collect business cards, if you're going to meet people, you have to have a system where you follow up and say thank you, or it was great to meet you. Send an email, say, oh, remember you said you're going to recommend me a book about this, you're going to introduce me to this and this person, stuff like that, because it's good for them to remember you, and it also shows that you're someone who is action oriented. You're actually a doer. You're not just another person who talks at parties. If you follow up and say, thank you so much for introducing me to this person last night. This is my email address in case you ever think of anyone else. Something small like that shows the other person that, wow, this is a serious young person. If I think of anything else, I'll be sure to get in touch with them. If there's a job opportunity, I will remember Bob or Sarah or Grace or whatever your name was. Small things like that. Because also people are busy and they forget. Yesterday, someone asked me to introduce them to a lady I know, and I was like, I knew I was running to another function and I'm going to forget. I was like, come, 1 second. Grabbed my assistant, introduced her to this person. Okay, bye. To make sure it gets done, so that it's actually actioned on. And the filing system helps, but when you need people in the future, because sometimes you meet lots of people and you don't really know what you need them for in the moment, but later you'll be like, oh, I need this. Don't I know someone who works in that organization? There's always someone. That's how I use LinkedIn. I needed what the other day? A license from something from a ministry. I just typed in my LinkedIn, ministry of this, this, this. And I saw all the people I know who work there. I'm like, now which one of these people can I ask to hook me up? I need the number for the person that gives licenses. So I called two of them. One of them had the number, introduced me. It's very helpful. But if you meet all these people and you don't have a filing system, one day you're going to be like, I met that guy. I think he works in, is it Equity or Stanbic or Standard Chartered? He works in a bank and he was talking about this and I need that thing. Have a filing system, guys. The sooner you have a filing system set up for your life that works for you, the more people you'll be able to meet and know and get a hold of when you need them. When you're inviting them for things, when you have a question, when you need a recommendation, when you need an introduction, that's what other people are there for. That's what your professional network is there for. You know how you see that quote, your network is your net worth? That's what it means. Because these people can open doors for you, they can give you information, they can help you. I've changed sectors so many times over my career. So I can't just know one set of people. I have to keep meeting people, but I also have to be able to find people that I meet after because later I'm going to need them. And it also helps that they know you and can find you because they might need you too. The more favors you give other people, the more favors they also have out there to collect in the world. You know, it's helpful. So when you're thinking about your brand, I would suggest you do those things. Remove anything on social media or on Google that is embarrassing to you, that is not professional, that is not portraying you in the light that you want to be seen as. We are all allowed to change, okay? Everyone was young and stupid once. You can evolve, you can grow. You don't have to be that person forever. And the impression you're trying to make on people should be the version of you that you are trying to be. Think about 40-year-old you. I don't know why I always looked on 40 when I was younger. Now that I'm actually on the way to 40, so scary. I feel like 40 is not particularly old. Many people change careers after 40. But when you're like 19, you think 40 is far. So for me, I would always say like, what am I going to be like when I'm 40? I'm going to be this cool professional person whose clothes are always ironed and has a nice office and doesn't say stupid things. That was what was important to me. And I always used to imagine that version of myself. So when I would be in work settings, I try to act like that version of myself. Because someone had given me this advice. You have to act like the person you're trying to be. Otherwise, you're never going to be that person. You can't be them all the time because it's hard and you don't have the skills or the experience or the ability, the judgment, the perception, the grace. I hope to get some grace. Um, but the more you try to be like that, the more you see the gaps you have, the more you say, okay, I need more of this skill. I need to know more people in this area. I need to understand this and this more. So you start to pretend to be those people. Fake it till you make it. That's why they say that, I think, because it's experience. You need to practice being that person so you realize, oh my God, I really don't know how to do this all day. I have to work on this and this and this. And it starts to happen eventually. You start to become that person with time. And then when you look back, you're like, wow, I'm actually being that person. My clothes are always ironed these days. I hit it before 40. So you have to think about that kind of stuff. And once you start to do it, start to project and be that kind of person. So your social media should also look like that. I'm not saying don't be fun, don't unlike the funny videos, but things about you You need to know that if people see me in this way, are they going to be able to still give me that opportunity, that job offer, or use my business or hire my company? It's something I also think about, but I feel like most people are mature by 40, like you know yourself pretty well. You know what sectors you like to work in, you know the skills, you know where you're going, you've learned yourself well. I think really by 30 most people also are there, but for some reason when I was younger I used to think about 40. So I suggest that because when you're young, 40 is far. So fake it till you make it. Try and be this person and think about the brand of that person. How will people describe that person? An exercise coaches do is they tell you think about your funeral. How will people talk about you at your funeral? Who is going to talk? Who is there? What are the people going to say about you? It helps. It's kind of scary. I did this with my 16-year-old cousins. They were like, ooh. But think about that person because if you don't start to be that person today, you're never going to be that person. People have this idea of themselves. Oh, yes, I'm going to be this person. I always use young men as they say, next year, okay, you have nothing right now. You've not even started a business, but you're going to be a billionaire by next year. It's not realistic. So if you think you're going to be that person by the time you die, it means you have to start now. Things take time. You have to start being that person today. You have to start working on that business or that idea or that course or what you need to be, even if it's small changes in your personality. You have to start doing it today because it takes time and consistency to actually achieve that and have that lasting effect and to build that brand. So think about what you want to be. Who do you want them to stay, see, and say? If 40 is too close, what do you want people to say about you when you die? Build that brand today. Sorry, it's not supposed to be morbid. Okay, we have some questions. Is there a sell by date for branding? Ah, that's so funny. Does anyone think like this? You see, your sell by date is when you are dead. Unfortunately, you don't know when that will be. So it's never too late. The sooner you start, the better. You know how they say the best time to start was yesterday? The second best time to start is right now. So if you didn't already start, start. It's something to work on. There's no sell by date. The sooner you do it, the better. Because you will have the same regret again in future if you don't start now. If you're doing a branding business, what percent does the client contribute or own? There is no set figure. What I would say is get an industry benchmark. Check with other companies and your competitors. Check with competitors in other countries like the international standard and then check with your local competitors. What is the breakdown? Because you're fighting for the same clients. Yesterday, I was registering for Momo Pay and Airtel Pay. Momo Pay wanted to charge me 2% and Airtel was charging me 1.5%. It was like, MTN, you need to do better. See, check a benchmark industry standards and see what percentage others are doing and using. There's no set standard. How does someone brand himself in a very unbelieving society where one is easily misunderstood and showing off when he come out to show who they really are? Oh, I hear you, Machibi. You have to not think about society being unbelieving. They say you have to, what is the phrase? Be so good they can't ignore you. You just keep doing it. If they believe you or not, that's none of your business. That's another expression. What other people think about you is none of your business. All you can do is put your brand out there. Put your brand out there in a way that you are proud of. Be intentional about it. Think about it. Make sure you are putting it out in the way you want to put it out. And the right people will see it in the way that you need. So you're not trying to convert everyone. I think this is something I talked about last week. When you're branding, you're not trying to attract everyone. Businesses that say, we are looking for everyone. Yeah, that's not really helpful for branding. Think about who you really want as your customers. Who are the people who are going to appreciate your product, who are going to appreciate your service, who need what you're offering. Those are the people you're targeting with your brand, that niche market, that demographic. Those are the ones you want. So if your brand speaks to them, they will find you and they will come. The rest don't need to believe you. It's okay. As long as the ones who do are there. And then there will be the ones who are happy with your service. They'll tell their friends, then word of mouth spreads, then your brand will grow. So don't think about society as a whole. That can be very overwhelming and can even scare you or make you not want to do it. So just think about the people who you're trying to attract. Think about your current customers who have told you they love your product. That's the kind of customer you're looking for. Copy that, use those, don't look for more of them. That's who your brand should be targeting. I hope that is helpful. Okay, those are all the questions we have. Oops, I hope it went live on Instagram. So those are my tips for branding as a student. And for you on your Friday reflections, find an accountability buddy. Oh, I see. Lots of people on Twitter. Okay, guys, have a wonderful weekend. Send me any questions you have on DM. Otherwise, I will see you next Friday.